True Culture on Human Nation TV. It's time for the tap in with Purvis Rollins, founder and CEO of Cannabispa. Purvis, I am super excited to have you here with us today, brother.
I'm excited to be here as well.
Thank you so much for stopping through.
Okay.
Now, for those who don't know, what is Cannabispa?
So Cannabispa is a cannabis-infused massage therapy provider. We provide in-home and in-spa services in the city or in the DMV.
That's dope. That's dope. We need more people who provide in-home services, especially when it involves cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me, man, especially with the massages. Man, I love your massages. They're wonderful. Now, when was Cannabispa founded, and when did you know that you wanted to make a career in this industry?
Cannabispa started in early 2015. January 2015 is when I started Cannabispa. I started doing massage in 2013. But I started integrating cannabis into my practice around 2015. I knew I was going to be working with cannabis probably 10, 15 years prior to that. So it was just, my segue into creating my lane in the industry without having to be, a dispensary or anything, having to have $5 million to get into the industry. Smart,
brother. Strategic. Now, what was your career before you started your company?
I had a couple different careers. I was in the Army for 11 years. I was a radiology tech and a combat medic in the Army. I got deployed to Afghanistan in 2002 to 2003. After that, I went to school, got my degree in public health. Graduated. I couldn't get a job because I didn't have a master's. So I worked as a part-time as a janitor while I figured out what I wanted to do. Then I went full-time into massage therapy, and everything has pretty much progressed since then.
Wow, that's amazing. You used to be in the Army. You were fighting for America. I love that. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what would you say some of your greatest obstacles are? Were when you were while you're growing your business?
Dealing with the city and how the city approaches black people in cannabis. For one, I feel like a lot of they're targeting a lot of minorities when it comes to making arrests.
Yeah.
I think one statistic I read was that I think 89% of the arrests for cannabis possession went down. However, possession with the arrest for possession with the intent went up, and 91% of the arrests were black.
That is ridiculous.
So it was some crazy statistic.
It's always a crazy statistic when it involves minorities, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
America, we gotta get our stuff together in America, man. We lock too many people up here for real. We have I think we're we lock up 25% of the world's people, but we're only 5% of the world's population.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous. We're doing something wrong here. We got to start doing something right here, man. Now, what percentage of your clientele would you say are tourists or native to DC?
So we just started a Groupon campaign. So I'm getting a lot of people that's coming in and out of the city that's picking up Groupons. I have a lot of my personal clientele who are from the area. But for the most part, I don't really know the statistic of who's what's the tourists versus native Washingtonians. But it's a real healthy mix.
How many people does Cannabispa currently employ?
We currently have three therapists working around the clock. So it's me and two other therapists.
And male and female therapists you have offer?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Now, what is your most popular service that you offer?
So we have a 1 hour cannabis spa experience. So with that, there's a 10-minute vape session before the massage, and then there's an hour massage session, and then a 10-minute vape session after.
So what if I want to have a 15-minute vape session? Would you extend it for me, or for someone who might want it to be extended? You can't extend the hour, but you would just shorten up the massage maybe 5 more minutes and let me stay in there.
I mean, you have the time slot, so however you want to
If I want to break it down, I can do that.
It's up to you.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, how do you source your cannabis-infused lotions and oils and other topicals? Is there like a large selection on the market right now, or?
Well, I personally grow my own strains specific to my products. So
everything is organic.
Mostly
organic.
Mostly organic. I mean, that's what they say. You know?
Yeah. Now, what benefits do you personally see from the use of cannabis or cannabis infused products?
So how I got into making topicals, I had a Vietnam veteran who was exposed to Agent Orange, and he would have these lesions, these outbreaks that was similar to herpes outbreaks. And the VA hospital would give him this Lucan-4 cream, which wouldn't really heal his wounds. So one of my frat brothers had reached out to me and asked me if I could put something together that could possibly help him. And that's why I just went in the lab. I researched different creams and oils that help with skin health, and then I just I infused it with cannabis and gave it to him to see how it worked. And I think after about a month of using it, he didn't have any more of the outbreaks, and he went a year and a half without having any outbreaks.
Wow.
So like seeing that happen, that was like
That's
one
magic.
of the things that made me like a true believer in, what cannabis can do topically as well as, how, smoking or ingesting it.
Yeah. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? You saw it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Now, what is the best thing about your job?
My peace. Like I work in a very peaceful environment. I'm on my own time. I don't have to, there's no stress of having to go and work for someone or clock in, clock out. Like I come in, I'm in my mind, and I'm helping people.
Freedom.
That's the biggest part is knowing that I'm doing something that's helping someone else, and that's the reward for me.
Now, you speak of peace and freedom. I want to ask you, what is the biggest frustration that you have with the cannabis industry in Washington, D.C.?
The biggest frustration is that, minorities are still continue to be targeted by MPD and by the city to be arrested and prosecuted for possession with the intent. Yeah. While you have other demographics that are moving around freely with opening up shops and doing whatever, and there's no issues for them. There's no prosecution for them. So that's my problem. It's not fair. It's not even. It's not equal.
And I know you were in your I totally agree with you. I don't think it's equal at all. And we are targeted. And I know you've been working hard to make sure that you stay in this industry, because you had your own, issues dealing with people trying to attack your business and bring you down and take your properties and all these different things. But you persevered. And we commend you here at True Culture, because one thing we have to make sure we do is stay on base and remain steadfast and don't waver at all. You know what I mean? And how did you conjure up the energy to get through those bouts with Washington, D.C. and your business?
Well, one, knowing the law, being abreast of the law, not listening to my court-appointed attorney who was like, just take the plea deal. Knowing that I had a leg to stand on and I was able to fight my case because there was no case. Right. And there was a complete ulterior agenda, of the city and MPD to try and take my property. So I don't know if most people know that DC has a civil forfeiture laws where if they deem your property a public nuisance, if there's one or two altercations, then the city can file a civil suit and take your property. I wasn't aware of this beforehand, but, this was one of the cases that they were trying to make. Well, had I taken the plea deal, then they would have made that case and would have been able to take my property.
Right. And, of course, the lawyer was trying to convince you to take the plea deal.
Nah, I'm not going to put that on.
To a certain degree.
No, he really didn't know.
He didn't know?
No, he didn't. So when the plea deal came and it was like a misdemeanor possession with the intent to distribute, he was like, it's a slap on the wrist, just take the misdemeanor.
Oh, he didn't know the extent of which they were
No,
trying.
He didn't.
Oh,
and then when I explained it to him, he was like, oh yeah, now we're going to trial. So
That's
he was
good.
with me.
So
he
switched modes as soon as he was filled in on the whole story.
Yeah, yeah. Once I explained everything to him, he was with it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, what advice can you offer aspiring cannapreneurs?
When you make up your mind to do it, just do it. Don't ask, permission. Don't wait for anyone. If it's something that you want to do, go out and do it. You know what I'm saying? Learn everything you need to learn to be what you want to be, and don't wait. Do it now.
Don't wait, people. Do it now. That is the lesson today. Whatever you have on your heart and in your mind, get it done. Because tomorrow might not come. And this is actually something that you were born to do. Yeah. I feel like, seeing you at work and experiencing your massages and knowing how much heart and love you put into your products, and also see the changes in people's skin and in their bodies when when they intake your products, man. I'm just proud of you for real. We gotta make sure we support businesses like you, but most importantly, people like you. Because we have to fuel the good. # fuel the good, people. Okay, you gotta fuel the good and eradicate hate. Because without doing that, if you're not fueling the good, then you're fueling the bad. Yeah. Whether it be indirectly or directly.
You're letting the bad go free.
You're letting it go, man. So
unchecked.
Now, what do you have planned for Cannabispa in the future?
Well, I'm looking to expand, of course. Right now, I'm looking for some solid therapists to join the team. People who are interested in learning about how to integrate herbs into their practice, not just cannabis but other herbs as well, and really just build and grow the Cannabispa team. That's my goal for the rest of 2020. By the end of 2020, if I can have at least another 4 or 5 therapists on the team, I feel like I've met my goals.
Now, I know we spoke about this earlier, the prisons being packed.
Okay.
And people going to jail. Now, cannabis restrictions from way back at the same time have embraced so many because, like you said, people are getting rich. Mm-hmm. So people are being embraced and enriched off the cannabis, but a lot of people are being sent to jail. And I feel like if we don't take a stand as a people and come together, then the laws will get even worse. And the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. What do you think that we can do to really, truly come together as a community and force the government to make cannabis a controlled 2 substance instead of controlled 1?
That's a multi-layered question.
Well.
But for one, I say this. You gotta understand, like, the only capital there is human capital. So when you talk about money being an existential thing, like, money doesn't exist if people don't believe in it, right? Mm-hmm. So the only thing that really matters is human capital. Like, we are the money. So the moment you start carrying yourself like you are the money, it's what you can do with your hands, what you can provide. You know what I'm saying? Like, you being locked up, you're providing something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're providing your time and your energy is being converted into dollars. You know what I'm saying? That goes to somebody's pocket. So once you start understanding that you are what's valuable and you carry yourself as such, then you'll start changing the way you move. You know what I'm saying? So I think we really need to start as a collective understanding what we are to this system. And then from there we can build.
Right. So we have to put our values in things that really are valuable.
Put our value in ourselves.
Right, in ourselves. That's the first.
Right.
That's first and foremost, and of course our people. Now, how do you feel about the politicians we have today and the fact that they're not doing what they're supposed to do to decriminalize and make marijuana legal in all states? Because I feel like we have so much backing from the people. I feel like the people isn't the issue anymore. I feel like so many people want this to be legal in America, recreational wise and medically. but it feels like the politicians are the ones that are pushing back on it right now. Do you feel like it's the people, or do you feel like it's the politicians?
No, it's definitely not the people. It's. I mean, we're in a capitalistic society, so that's keep it 100. It's more about the money. Who has access to making money from cannabis? You know, once they can, iron out regulations that will keep the regular average people from being able to monetize and take advantage of an open cannabis market, then you'll start seeing it, move more freely when it's regulated like alcohol, and you have the same few companies that produce all of the cannabis, and in order to sell it you have to get a license, and regulations like
right.
When it's regulated and it's tightly regulated, then there'll still be a lane where they can still lock people up for it, because if you don't fall within these regulations and you're doing it, then we're going to either heavily fine you or we're going to continue to lock you up. Right. Yeah, I think locking people up is $1 trillion industry. They're not going to let that go.
They would never let that. We would have to make them let that go.
Yeah. So, as far as like decriminalization, like it's already decriminalized. Right. Like in DC, here is decriminalized. However, making money off of it is still criminal. So it makes no sense. But like I said, it's all about the money.
It's all about the money, man. It could cure so many diseases, and
ain't no money in cures.
There's no money in cures though.
Not.
And it's crazy, man. So and let's shift gears for a moment, right? I want to talk about cannabis and how it actually helps folks with stress, PTSD, different diseases, and all of that. And everyone is under so much pressure and stress these days. What are you seeing with your client base and the correlation with all the societal strain that we are having to endure nowadays?
Well, I mean, from what I see, cannabis is and has always been a coping mechanism. People smoke or people use cannabis for all types of reasons, but most people smoke to relax, de-stress, and can I cuss on this? Or can we talk, or there's no cussing?
You can curse if you want.
Oh, I ain't know. I just got to ask. But you know what I'm saying? Like, people, this is how people deal with the bullshit that goes on in their life, right? So in society, if you have, this outlet, it's been illegal, and now it's another stressor to either go get some tree or find a weed man and not get robbed, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many other stresses to just get it. Then you got to worry about getting locked up. Like, those are the things that, like, I feel, they've complicated even more. So yeah. People, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, once you get your tree, you want to hit a J and relax and just let go of all the bullshit of the day,
They definitely want to keep us under pressure. They don't want us to have a relief. They want to keep us from cannabis, swimming, everything they can to have us not have that stress relief. And then give us the time to think, man. Because when we get the time, when we take time to actually sit and think, we come with the greatest ideas, the greatest inventions, the greatest things to help our community and how we can build this and create that. So, that's the part of cannabis that I love so much, is that it actually helps us wind down and take the time to connect to the higher power. Because we all have that connection. It's all about just taking the time to actually feel that connection and receive those signals from the higher power. And because we have so many blockers, we're stressed the hell out, man. Going crazy. And that's what's driving us insane. They tried to make us believe that smoking cannabis was causing us to go insane. And really, it's not smoking cannabis.
Cannabinoid deficiency is a real thing.
It surely is. It surely is. And talk more about that, too, because I know that transistors and everything in our brains and our bodies and how cannabis can cut them on and cut them off and have us, have pain. We have us to relieve our pain and ailments and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the transistors that we have in our brains? So
we have receptors in every major system in our body, CB1 and CB2 receptors that are specifically designed to metabolize cannabinoids. And each, like I said, the main purpose of these receptors is to maintain balance and homeostasis, which it's how your body functions. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the beauty of it, or the genius of it, is that, you know, it unlocks a key to everything in you. You know what I'm saying? Like your first cannabis experience is anandamide, which is an endocannabinoid, and it's transferred from mother to child through breast milk. So, you know, technically your first cannabis massage is one given from mother to child. The mother's touch is the first massage. That's the first form of healing.
Wow, that's powerful.
So, you know, it's everything. You know, it is a miracle plant substance. It's something that we definitely should integrate into every aspect of life. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the ancients did it. The ancients, I believe in them. You know, I trust in the ancients, man. If they were out here doing it in ancient Asia, in ancient Africa, and I feel like I might have to go ahead and trust in what they were talking about, because they lived to be like 250 years, 300 years old back in the day. You know, we're trying to make it to 80.
Make it to 80.
You know what I mean? But to learn more about Cannabispa and schedule your session, call 202-618-CALM. That's 202-618-CALM. Or email Cannabispa at cannabispadc@gmail.com. Now, we leave every show on a positive note. I'm going to leave this one really short and sweet. Never take no as an answer from anyone who is not in a position to tell you yes. I repeat, never take no as an answer from someone who is not in a position to tell you yes. Brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to our sponsors. Much love and respect to Purvis Rollins of Cannabispa DC for joining us today. And make sure to go book your next relaxing massage session with Purvis, man. I'm telling you, I vouch for him. He's amazing. Whatever hurts on you, he will make sure it's relieved by the time you leave his business that day.
Appreciate that.
Yes, no problem at all. Subscribe to Human Nature TV on YouTube to keep up with True Culture's news and exclusive interviews and more. The revolution may not be televised, but it will be broadcasted. True Culture on Human Nature TV.